Welcome back to K-Nation. For the second straight year, the Jayhawks are 2-0. We got to talk more about it. Exciting time for Kansas football.
Definitely. So we have a guest to help us talk about it. Derek Johnson, Rock Chalk Sports Talk radio host, is here with us. Derek, thanks for joining us again.
Yeah, glad to be back. I knew everything, where everything was. I knew where I was going this time, so it was great.
It was so easy.
The viewers loved it so much, they said, please bring Derek back on the show.
You even knew where the bathroom was.
Wow. No, that was the biggest thing. I disagree on the viewers thing. They're probably like, oh, this guy again. So we'll see.
Well, talking about Jayhawk football now, the reason why you came, not just to go to the bathroom here. KU got a big win against Illinois with Jalen Daniels back. What more do you want to see this team do in this final non-conference game?
Well, Nevada's not a great team. They lost big to USC. Then they got trounced by an Idaho team that's an FCS team last week. So this game for me is more about the mental side of it. Can you get up for a game after you looked so good against Illinois? You're going to be on the road, late game, 9:30 Central Time, in a little bit of altitude up in Reno. Can you just get up for the game mentally? Because I think we saw a lot of the questions answered in the Illinois game. Run defense was a lot better. Pass rush was there. Jalen Daniels was back. Offense looked good. So really impressive effort. It's just about, can you now show consistency and build off of that into this next week?
It's kind of about playing a full game. They looked a little rocky to start the Missouri State game. Then the second half against Illinois was maybe they didn't quite put them away. So we had a good second half in the week one, a good first half in week two, and how can we get them both? I'm curious your grade. Can you give them a grade A through F on what you've seen? A plus being Big 12 championship, college football playoff, and F being, it's back to the old KU football.
Sure. I think right now, if you looked at just the first half of the Illinois game, that was an A++. That might have been the best first half of football in the Lance Leipold era so far. Obviously, like you said, a bit of a slow start in the Missouri State game, but right now, I mean, if A+ is college football playoff, Big 12 title, I'm not going to quite go there. I don't know, B+, maybe A-. Like, I don't think it's that crazy to say when you look at some of the Big 12 schools that have either lost or struggled early in the season. Why can't Kansas at least be a contender? Now, Texas, Kansas State, clearly those two schools have shown that they're probably above the rest. Oklahoma looks really good. So I'm not necessarily saying that you would put Kansas above those schools, but can you at least be a contender? Can you win 8 or 9 games? I don't think that's out of the park. So from that standpoint, I mean, A-, B+, and we'll wait and see what happens once they get to week 5, if they can be undefeated till then and possibly be playing Texas after they just beat Alabama this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of the guys are saying, why not us before this season? Why can't we be one of those teams? And Devin Neal, Daniel Highshaw had a great game. I saw they were the first KU running back duo to have more than 100 yards each since 2019. What do you want to see out of their usage the rest of this season? Man,
the big thing for Devin Neal is just staying healthy over the course of the season. We saw last year when he was at his peak at the end of the year, he had that unbelievable Oklahoma State game that got them bowl eligible, and then the very next week against Texas Tech was great as well, even though they lost the game. It's just sustaining that health. He looks like an NFL running back out there when you're watching some of the vision and the cuts that he's having. With Daniel Highshaw, he was working back from the injury. I didn't think he looked great in the first half last week or 2 weeks ago against Missouri State. But really the explosiveness came about. He had the touchdown, and you saw it against Illinois. So, working back from that tough injury, it's just continuing to see the explosiveness come back, holding on to the football. He's had some fumbling issues in the past. But both those guys, as long as they stay healthy, which, again, Highshaw had the injury last year. Neal was banged up at different points throughout the season. That's one of the best back duos in the entire conference in the country. So it's just staying healthy, because once they're on the field, they're more than talented enough to make big plays.
Yeah.
Let's close with this one. We'll talk about the quarterbacks. That's typically, people like to talk about those guys. Jason Bean is really good. There's something about Jalen Daniels, man. When he gets in there, even if Bean completed 30 of 30 passes, Daniels gets in there and you say, this offense looks like another level.
Well, I think what it is with Jason Bean, if Jason Bean was KU's starting quarterback and doing what he's doing now, and there was no Jalen Daniels, he just disappeared or he wasn't, whatever, Jason Bean would be thought of so highly by KU fans. I think KU fans think of him highly, but he would be the best KU quarterback since probably Todd Reesing. But it's just that Jalen Daniels is even beyond that. He's not just the best quarterback at KU's had since Todd Reesing. He is a legitimate early in the season Heisman candidate. I mean, we saw that last year before he got injured. He's putting up ridiculous numbers. Some of the plays that he made, the one where he's darting by Jerzon Newton in the end zone, avoiding the safety, throwing downfield. At the end of the half, the throw to Luke Grimm. I mean, this guy is unbelievable what he does. He just takes everything to the next level. And he's exciting to watch. He's entertaining. He's fun. He's got a great charisma, personality about him. It's hard not to fall in love with him when you're watching him play football.
Yeah, the guy had 3 or 4 plays on Friday that could have been SC top 10. I think one of them was number 2 on SportsCenter. He had a bunch of them.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully see a lot more. Derek, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, man.